Hello and welcome to the launch of our Global Innovation Challenge with Cicada Innovations and CSL Behring. My name's Sally Ann Williams. I'm the CEO of Cicada Innovations and I'm delighted that you could join us here today from wherever you are in the world, be it morning or noon or night. As we get underway this morning, I just want to take a moment in the spirit of reconciliation to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're meeting today, which is the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respects to their elders past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and First Nations people joining us and represented throughout this challenge today. I'm absolutely thrilled that you can join us here. It's a really exciting thing. As we sort of launch this Global Innovation Challenge, I think it's really important to give you a little bit of context about who Cicada Innovations is. And I think most of you know who CSL Behring is, but why we're coming together. Cicada Innovations is Australia's pioneering deep tech incubator. We've been around for just over 20 years. We'll be 21 in August, and we exist to help bring people together to solve some of the world's most pressing problems through science and engineering and building businesses. So we work in the medtech space, agtech space, hardware, software, dealing with things like modern slavery and food provenance and climate change. You name it, we exist to be that gathering point of people who are really passionate about the problem they're trying to solve, connecting them with researchers, innovators, funding, founders, and all of the resources that they need to grow that business. CSL Behring, of course, is a global leader in solving some of the most pressing and wicked challenges that we have in human health. Originally, CSL, founded in Australia, was to solve a global challenge and a global problem. And they've gone from strength to strength over the years, seeking to consistently push forward and deliver great outcomes for people, which is really amazing. And we've come together today to do something, I think, really special, to come together and share our vision and our mission, which is to create great, connect people with great ideas, with opportunities to bring those ideas to life. Some of the world's most pressing problems, they're not solved simply. They're not solved overnight. They're not solved with ease. It may take, years and years and years, and sometimes hundreds of people and an incredible amount of patient capital to bring those solutions to market. But when those solutions do come to market, when you do connect the dots, when you do bring that ecosystem together, things can happen that are magical. And we've really seen that, I think, globally on the stage over the last year as the world has faced, one of the most pressing problems of our time. And certainly, I feel like in my generation, in dealing with a global pandemic. But really, when you think about it, there's challenges that we face uniquely that are unique to, not unique to individuals, but are truly global challenges every day. And it's our vision with this challenge, it's our hope with this challenge, it's our collaboration with this challenge, that those of you out there with great ideas or know those with great ideas will actually connect through and be a part of coming into a community, into an ecosystem, and into a connection and a collaboration with both us and with CSL Behring to actually solve some of these pressing problems together. So we're really thrilled about this. I'm not going to steal anybody's thunder and tell you what the challenge is about, but we're really, really excited that when we've been talking to CSL Behring, there's been a real, I think, match of minds and a shared vision and values that bringing people together, coming together with great ideas is really the first step to actually making a difference and making a difference for people, for you and for me at the end of the day. So without further ado, what I'd love to do is introduce our first speaker today on this webinar, Douglas Lee, our friend Doug from CSL Behring. Doug is an amazing leader of some of the work that the company's doing there. We've had a great chat this morning, unfortunately that none of you were privy to, but a great chat about why we're coming together and sort of his vision on it. And so I'd love to hand over to you, Doug, to just share a little bit more about what you see the opportunity here this morning.
Thank you, Sally Ann, and that was a very nice setup. It's very true. Here at CSL, we have a very long history, over 100 years of innovation. We like to say it's within our DNA here at CSL. It's not innovation just for the sake of innovation. It's really about targeting rare disease states, unmet needs for the populace. Many of you know the company CSL. I suspect and I understand there's many Australians on the video call today, and I welcome you. But for those who don't, CSL, Commonwealth Serum Laboratory, started out as a government-run lab in the early 1900s. It was a country isolated by war, and the decision was made to come forward with this laboratory to serve the populace that was isolated during this difficult time in our global history. CSL has grown and now is a global enterprise, serving the world and still continuing to serve those unmet needs, those rare diseases, with a variety of different approaches and technologies, including plasma-derived products for those individuals who are frequently lacking in the ability to mount responses to or have congenital deficiencies in certain proteins along the way. Recombinant products that share those attributes and looking at those mechanisms of actions as well. Gene therapy, curative options that we're seeking today to actually solve some of the therapies that we've developed, to replace some of the therapies that we've developed, for replacement in congenital deficiencies utilizing gene therapy approaches. And finally, through our Securus arm, our influenza vaccines and other vaccines as well. And most recently, the team has been mounted and supporting the COVID vaccine programs that are running today, both in the rest of the world, but primarily in Australia. Today's focus is really unique, and we're really looking for ideas to improve upon our plasma purification business. And I'm not going to get into the details. I want to leave that for my friend Laura here in a moment. But I just want to let you know that, as I indicated, while we see innovation within CSL as in our DNA, we also are pretty wise and understand the fact that innovation comes from all places, not just within the function I'm responsible for, not just within the walls of R&D here within CSL, but outside the walls of the company. And that's what I'm excited about. That's why I'm excited about this opportunity to work with many people at one time and to come up with new ideas in this, what I like to say, crowdsourced ideation process. It's an opportunity to glean and harvest those ideas and get the voices of people that we might not necessarily hear from. Individuals who are on the phone today or on this video conference call. I personally look forward to seeing what this benefits. This is a first for us. This is new for me personally, and it's new for my team, and it's new for CSL R&D. So we're very excited to actually take a shot at this and see how this will work for us. I'd like to take just one moment just to, while we've talked about innovation, we've talked about the history of CSL. I'm going to quote one of my favorite quotes from an innovator in his own right, a fellow named Walt Disney. Many of you know. He likes to say, or he said, around here, however, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. And I use this a lot in my organization because I think it really says a lot for what innovation looks like. No one can argue that Walt Disney's not an innovator. He's definitely an innovator. But if you listen to that quote carefully, he says, we don't look backwards for very long. We keep moving forward and we're curious. And I think what that says is it's not one person innovating, it's many people within the organization. And today we're looking not only within our organization, but well beyond it with this effort. So with that, I will close and hand it to my friend Laura, who will talk about the actual details of this innovation challenge and what that will look like and the opportunity that we're presenting today. And I thank you. Laura?
Thank you, Doug, for the introduction to CSL and innovation in CSL. But in addition to innovation, patient focus is another CSL value that drives us, putting our patients first in everything that we do. Many of the products that we produce are derived from human plasma to serve people living and thriving with rare diseases. One example is immunoglobulin G, or IgGs. IgGs are antibodies the human body relies on to fight and prevent infections. However, some people cannot produce enough IgGs on their own to prevent or fight infection. And as you can imagine, that's very serious and in some cases can become fatal. So these folks rely on long-term IgG replacement therapy, which is made possible only through the donation of human plasma. The IgG antibodies present in the plasma can be made into therapies and given to patients as a long-term treatment. But there's currently a shortage of plasma-derived IgG therapies to treat patients with these rare, sometimes fatal diseases. And for people living with primary immunodeficiency and other diseases that rely on IgG replacement, long-term treatment with plasma-derived IgG is both life-changing and life-saving. As we look to the future of plasma-derived biotherapies and the growth of the population taken together, we know that the number of people who will need these IgG therapies will only increase. We believe it is possible to enhance our current processes to collect more IgG from every liter of donated plasma to help close this gap. Therefore, we are absolutely committed to improving our processes to maximize the amount of IgG therapy we can recover from every donor's plasma for our current and future patients. Doing so will drastically improve the lives of those who rely on IgG therapies. The plasma that's the starting material for many of our life-saving medications is given by our donors because they understand the value of the donation they are making, and many know someone who's directly impacted by these life-saving therapies. Therefore, it is our mission and our duty to maximize this precious natural material donated by so many for the benefit of others. And that is why we are here today to announce a global innovation challenge around improving recovery of IgG from plasma. We are extending our innovation beyond CSL and opening this challenge to the broader community so that we can increase the number of novel approaches and perspectives that are put before us and open the door to innovators from around the world who might otherwise not have direct access to present their ideas and concepts. We are keen to hear from those who have the bold ideas, the outside of the box ideas, who may or may not be from within the biotherapy or plasma space, because life-changing solutions can come from anyone and from anywhere. And so today our challenge to you is this: to identify innovative technologies or methods which can be used effectively to maximize the recovery of IgG in high yield and high purity to benefit those who rely on these life-saving medications. Now, of course, this is a challenge, so there is an award structure that comes along with this. 40,000 AUD to the top team, plus mentorship from both Cicada and CSL, with the runner-up taking home 15,000 AUD. So I encourage everyone to submit your ideas starting today. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Sally for the Q&A.
Thanks, Laura. And I'm absolutely thrilled to hear about this challenge and hear about, it's a big one. It's a big, robust challenge, but hear about the commitment that you have, for really optimizing patient well-being and extending that. I loved how you described, that precious gift, that precious donation, but extending the opportunity to so many more people. I think that's a really powerful statement. And, I don't normally get personal on these things, but as somebody who, a family member has recently been diagnosed with a rare cancer, that commitment to want to go that next level and to want to be able to do more, I think resonates with each and every one of us, particularly in this last year as we've had this shared human experience globally of what it is to face a challenge and to want to be able to do more and connect more. So we're going to get into a little short Q&A with our panel. So I'm delighted to welcome back Doug, but also to welcome Martin Vi to our panel here this morning. So Martin has drawn the short straw and is joining us from Europe, and so it's very late at night, and we do really appreciate you joining us in such a late time zone. I want to throw open a question, and this is to all of you at CSL. You talked a little bit about it, Doug. You talked a bit, touched on it, on human impact, and Laura, you sort of spoke about some of those rare diseases. But it'd be really great to understand, what's the impact of finding a solution in this space? Like, what does that mean for people? What does that mean for humanity more broadly?
Yeah, look, Sally, and first of all, thank you very much for the nice introduction, and thanks Laura and Doug for kicking this off. And thanks to all of you out there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for spending your time with us and also trying to share your ideas with us. So it's a big impact. It's really a big impact. As Laura said, patients who don't have these antibodies, they depend on these products. And these products made from human plasma, which is in short demand. And demands are increased. It's in short supply, and the demands are increased. So through clinical development, through new indications where products are required, where patients can be addressed, we get more and more assets. So the more product, IgG, we can get out of plasma, the more patients can get access to their essential treatment. That's life-changing. It makes the big difference. And as Laura said, sometimes the difference between life. So I think the best you can do as a researcher in biomedical science.
Laura, Doug, did you want to add anything additional to that?
Sure, I'll just say, I think Martin captured it well, but I think it's important to understand that the products that we're talking about are life-changing and life-saving. And I don't want that point missed along the way. And we can't serve this industry can't serve the entire populace that requires it. So when we talk about the importance of the donation, when we talk about the importance to the patient, it's real. It really does exist as a gap in what's needed out there. And what we're at CSL trying to do is to close that gap any way that we can at any given approach that we can take a shot at. So this is, we're excited about it, but it is about the patient. It is about maximizing that donation and giving that donor's value to what that donor has taken the time to provide.
Thank you. That's I think that's a great overview. And I think, I think one of the things I keep harking back to this last year of the pandemic, and I don't want to focus on the pandemic, but I think for the first time globally, we've got a shared experience where we can, as humans, when we hear you talk about that and talk about the human impact and what it does, we can all relate to that right now, because all of us have been looking, for the last 18 months for the hope that we have in all of our scientists in many labs to come together and to release the burden that we're facing as a population. And so I think it really resonates strongly. There's a really interesting question. I'm going to jump around in our question orders a little bit here, but just touching on that, because I think this kind of follows really nicely with that question about the impact. Regarding the submissions, what are some of the areas that sort of interest you in that space? Are there particular things that you kind of excited to see? And I know both Laura and Doug, you mentioned people outside of the industry, so in adjacent areas, maybe they're sitting in the physics department or in a research lab or somewhere else. Are there particular submissions and areas that interest you?
Sure. So I can start with this one, and then Doug and Martin, if you'd like to add on. So just like to start and say many of the production methods that we currently use to purify the proteins from plasma, such as IgG, at commercial scale, they are expensive to build and to operate, and they generally result in a large production footprint and high utility costs. And so we're looking for solutions to improve the plasma purification and reduce the loss of IgG proteins in this way, to maximize the resource that we have, because it is so precious. It is precious for our patients. So really what we're looking for is really a final single step option, if possible, for isolating IgG, and looking for purification innovations that can be introduced at any stage during that purification process. And just like you said, Sally, we would be very interested to hear from people who are outside the plasma, who have maybe thought about this from a different perspective, may bring fresh eyes to this problem, provide a different solution.
Great.
So just just to add to that, as and maybe you, Laura, you weren't, you were something broke up. So it's really, it's along the purification path of IgG from the donor side to the finishing vials, where we want to hear ideas, people who may not be, as I said before, working in a biomedical or biopharmaceutical research lab every day, but who have maybe some ideas from an adjacent industry, maybe agriculture, maybe milk industry, maybe brewing industry. If it seems to make sense to you, if it can be transferred into our field, we want to hear about it.
Great. And so that's really broad, right? Like I think and we've talked about this a lot in the preparation for this, that going broad is really the best way to kind of unearth the most amount of ideas. And so I guess I would say to everybody that's watching and thinking and going, I'm not sure, you know what, apply. It doesn't take very long. The applications are going to be live. It's a pretty short process for round one. So it's better to be in than out, and you've got to be in it to win it, as they say. But it's better to apply, and we can help you shape and think through whether that's going to be appropriate or not. But you never know. You might come up with something that CSL hasn't even thought of in the past, which, you know, I'm kind of hopeful for, because I always like to surprise and delight with left of field sort of options. So I know the great, you know, the thing that you'd love is to have something, you know, ready to go, plug and play. The likelihood of that with this challenge, I've talked to you a lot about how hard this problem space is and what you're trying to do in this space and how challenging it is. You know, that might be a stretch goal. At what stage of development can submissions be? What are you really kind of open to having a conversation about?
Any stage.
Go ahead.
I was going to say any stage, really. So we're absolutely looking from everything from fully functioning products and technologies to benchtop concepts. So we will take anything and evaluate regardless of the stage which is at. We don't want to close the door on what could be a truly groundbreaking solution.
I love it.
It's as you said, Sally Ann, there might be interesting ideas which we haven't even thought about. So it can also be an idea. So it's really something where we really look forward to the universe of ideas of all the great researchers around the world.
Fantastic. And look, one of the prizes is, and I think we want to unpack this a little bit more. There is a lot for those of you that are asking questions in the chat. We'll take those offline and we'll see what we can do. But we do have a website that'll be going live this morning with all of the FAQ and a little bit more information, so you can dig into this challenge. But you know, one of the prizes that Laura, that you talked about is mentoring, and you know, Cicada said we're happy to mentor, and I think that's really applicable to those that are early stage or looking to commercialize and maybe don't know that path. You know, that's what we do. We commercialize companies here. We work with them. We connect them to the biggest players out there. So we try and connect them to the CSLs of the world and make useful introductions where there's a real win-win on both sides. But you know, one of those prizes is mentorship and connection. Why is that so valuable? And can maybe this is one for you, Doug. You know, Doug and Laura. But why is that? I think of it as a two-way street. But I'd love to kind of just get your thoughts on why you see value in offering that as part of an award.
Go ahead, Laura. I'll follow up.
Sure. So you'll have the opportunity to get your idea in front of industry experts at CSL, and you'll receive invaluable feedback, advice, and potentially even connections that can further help your idea. CSL senior leadership provides highly accomplished people like Doug and Mark with many years of people and business experience. And having these conversations around your idea can really help you develop it further.
I would just add, it's really incumbent upon industry today to not just stop at the money. The money is what it is, and money comes and goes, but mentorship lasts a lifetime. And it sounds a little cliche and maybe a little sappy, but honestly, it is what we do. I mean, beyond the products, we give back to the community at every one of our every one of our sites has a mentorship, internship programs. And to actually participate that at a community level, beyond the ideation process, it actually becomes a reciprocal relationship. And to that end, there's a synergy that builds, I think, between us and the innovator. I mean, that's probably one of the more exciting elements of this in some ways.
Yeah, I have to say, as someone who gets to participate every day in helping businesses and grow and take people from that idea and innovation stage all the way through to commercialization and product and market, some of the most fruitful things I think come from mentoring and that I see is somebody just being able to say, actually, here's why that won't work, but if you could focus here, this is what's going to lead to success. And so there's a real win-win structure involved in the best sort of conversations around those. And it's quite amazing what one session of mentoring can do when you really come to it purposefully with common mission and that common vision of what you're trying to achieve, and a real openness to say, this is where I'm struggling, what can you help me with? And on both sides. And as somebody who, you know, mentors almost every day, whether I want to or not, I certainly have that opportunity. You know, sometimes when people come to me with their challenges, it's a great feeling if you can connect them to the resource or the thing that they need to take that and progress it forward, particularly when it's something around a challenge like this, which is so people focused and it's so health focused and it's such a rewarding space to kind of be in and say, if we can make a difference, if we can get somebody 10% closer to something that will go into CSL in due course and help them and help another, you know, increase, you know, the number of people that they're able to help by 20%, that's, you know, that's a significant number of people that potentially benefit from a solution that might be nascent right now and out there. So I want to ask probably just two more questions, and then I am cognizant of everybody's time, and people want to go to bed and get kids to work, kids to school, and finish off their work day wherever you are in the world. But you know, if and I throw this to all of you, if there's one thing that you would like to tell people today, one key takeaway you want people to go away with today, what would that be?
So look, for us, it's important that you think outside the box. That means you can come from anywhere, inside the industry, outside the industry. If you think that your idea might apply to that, bring it to us, bring it in front of us, and at the same time, share the good news within your network, that we can, you know, find more ideas to help patients who actually, you know, depend on these products. So it's both your own idea, but also your network.
I would second everything that Martin has just said. Absolutely think outside the box. But I would also add, don't be hindered by what you find online for the current plasma process. Really, again, find a system that you think would work. You're designing something novel from the very beginning to capture 100% of everything. That's really our goal, is really to maximize as much as we can this and natural resource for the patient who really have living. So outside of the box, in any way.
So I'll just add, and Laura, you cut out a little bit, but what I caught from the earlier part, and I think it's very important, don't bury yourself in what's been done. We know what's been done. It's in the literature. We can read. We're good at that, actually, not too shabby. Look beyond what's in the literature. Take the knowledge that you have and say, what do I bring to the table? What do I bring? What's unique about my understanding, my experiences, and my knowledge that I can actually bring to this, that a person in CSL who might be an engineer, a biochemist, or a scientist of any given nature wouldn't have? Take a shot. That's my advice. Bring it forward. Let's hear it out and give it a chance.
And I'm going to add to that because I'm moderator, so I get to do those things. But I'm going to add to that is, don't just think about what you know and what you're working on, and think about who in your network needs to know about this and who's adjacent to you. The reason that I say that is, you know, in my career, which has been a rather long one in innovation, both here at Cicada Innovations and previously in Google in the engineering team, and always in an R&D focus, the best thing that you can do is talk about this to as many people as possible, because it can honestly be the most bizarre conversation in a lift when you're getting your morning coffee. You don't know what that barista behind there does. They might be working there part-time and doing a postdoc in physics that is actually around new materials or new processing that could have application there. And so when you think about what you know and what you're working on, that's one thing. Don't be shy. Don't hesitate. Don't worry about how far it is. At least go through the application process and see if we can make a connection. But share it far and wide. I think one of the things that we want to be with these innovation challenges is these are hard problems to solve. They are wicked problems to solve. And if we only keep going to what we know and who we know, we're never going to come up with an answer. We have to go wider. We have to connect. We have to collaborate, which is why we're here together today. It's why Cicada and CSL Behring are coming together to say, let's increase our network, let's increase our reach, let's increase the conversation around this and see how we can connect people into the opportunity. So I did say I was going to ask one more question, but maybe what I'll do with this one more question, is there anything else that we've missed? I never want to give an opportunity that we haven't answered or we haven't given, our colleagues on the call today that are with us on this panel. Is there anything we've missed that you think you're just bursting to share with our audience?
And I want to maybe add, as you said, Sally-Ann, it may not be an individual's idea, it may be a team that works on it. So all the more you relate and reach out to colleagues and friends and make that maybe small challenge by yourself or a small event, that's fine as well. So we want to really get all the brains that can contribute in working on this, as I said, wicked, audacious problem.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for everybody who's joining us. We are going to wrap up in a minute, but a couple of things. I do just want to thank Doug, Laura, and Martin for their time and their contributions. And I think I just want to reflect back on something that Doug said this morning. And it was that he was talking about serving, and he was talking about serving people in the conversation and around the creation of CSL as Commonwealth Serum Laboratories and the purpose behind that. And I think that purpose is why you're all here on this call this morning. It's why you've joined us, is that you do have an interest in serving and collaborating. And so I just want to reflect on that and encourage you to be involved and participate and help spread the word and share the word and tap your colleagues and friends and others on the shoulder for this challenge. In a moment, we're going to put up a slide that has a QR code on it. Now, if you want to take out your phones and scan that QR code, it will take you straight to the challenge website, and you'll be able to sign up and find out more details and actually look through the application process and ask all the FAQs that you want. For those of you that got more questions that aren't answered today, or that you have once you've read that challenge site, there's a contact number on there, or there's a contact email on there that you can reach out to us. And for those of you who just want to type in the website, you can go to cicadainnovations.com/CSL Behring Challenge to find out more. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank you in advance for the support that you're going to give us and to CSL Behring of helping us share the word, of spreading this competition and this challenge far and wide, and for what you're going to do in participating in solving this wicked challenge. Thank you. Have a great day.